As I often tell my students wherever I go to train, most of the income that I make today in real estate is made in the pretty house business, not the ugly house business. Now don't get me wrong, I make offers on ugly houses several times a week and buy 2 or 3 a month from banks. But that's not the discussion of this lesson. This lesson is on terms, but a specific part of terms that I like best, that I'm seeking the most in the industry. In fact, if you look on your screen right now, you'll see a copy of the property information sheet. The property information sheet that we use to screen sellers. These are the same ones that our virtual assistants call. They fill in these blanks for our students all over the country, and then they send the sheets to us. I happen to be one of the customers for this same service. And if you look in the middle of the sheet, over to the right, you'll see where the script is in one of the boxes. It says, if the house is free and clear, say these words. Now, we know it's free and clear because right above that in the box, you'll see it's 0. When they ask what the loan amount is, it says 0. And hey, you'd be surprised to know that about 1/3 of all the houses we call nationwide are free and clear. And actually, that number is actually rising a little bit as time goes on. So about 1/3 of the market is free and clear. Now take a look at the paragraph underneath. The question is that the house is free and clear. It says, will you consider taking your equity in monthly installments? And it calls for a yes or a no answer. The yes answers are the ones we're looking for there, because that means the seller is interested in terms, or at least we'll talk about terms. Terms meaning owner financing. That's the only thing that we're talking about here is owner financing if it's free and clear. Now, if it says no, if the seller says no, I'm not interested, if you look right below, you'll see that it asks the lease option question, and the goal is to determine whether, if they're not interested in owner financing, would they be in lease options? And if the answer is no and no, then the sellers screen themselves out. Now, of course, the ones that say yes are the ones that I'm interested in. Of the ones that say yes, believe it or not, about 1/3 of the total of the free and clear houses will say yes. So if you're under the impression that you got to ask 100 people to get a yes on will I own or finance, the answer is no. About 1/3 of them will say yes right up front upon first request. Now from that point on, we have a script. Once you fill out the property information sheet and you get the answers below, the bedrooms and the bathrooms and is it listed and all that stuff that's on the sheet, now you get rid of that sheet and you now go to my script. I have a script that's called, which you'll find right in front of you and down below. I pulled it right out of my boot camp manual. It's called Script to Call Back a FSBO with a Free and Clear House with a Yes on Owner Financing question. Okay, so if your VA has gotten the answers on the property information sheet for you, then you use this script word for word. If you're the one collecting the front end information from the seller, then you will eliminate the first paragraph of my script, and you will start with, okay, well listen, I've got all the facts here now that I need. You've indicated you take monthly payments, and now look down the arrow, follow the arrow. Well, first they say, is that correct? If they say yes, follow the arrow all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see what you need to say next if they agreed that they said that they would take monthly payments, or if you just heard them say that, okay? And here's what the bottom of the script says. It says, okay, well, what's the least you could accept on the price if we agree upon the terms? Then you shut up and you let them speak. And then you say, well, is that the best you can do? And you shut up and you let them speak, and your number will likely come down. Stop there. Don't press them too hard here on the telephone, but now you know what's on the seller's mind. Now look right below that, and this is the key, important, killer question. The question is, may I assume you will sell with nothing down? Now, my friends, that's a totally different question than will you sell with nothing down. Will you sell with nothing down means you expect them to say no. May I assume you will sell with nothing down means you expect them to say yes. If you assume that they're going to say yes, it'll come out better. They will pick it up that you intend for them to say yes, and you'll be surprised how many yeses you get. May I assume you will sell with nothing down you will get about a third of the people that you ask that question to say yes, contrary to your current belief. Just go do it and then prove it to yourself, and then we'll see how close I am. May not be a third, you might get less, you might get more. I tell you, you're going to get none if you don't read the script just the way that I wrote it here for you. May I assume you will sell with nothing down? And pause and shut up and wait for the answer. And if they do come back and say, no, I won't do that, then you say, well, then what is the least you could take down? And then you'll have your answer, and I will follow that with, well, is that the best you can do? So now, well, let me come back to that in a second. The last question is what's the lowest you could take per month? So here's what we need to know on free and clear houses. Number one, price, what's the best you can do. Number two, nothing, down payment. We must know what the seller's got in mind for a down payment and a monthly payment. And those are the critical questions, because the answer to those questions will determine whether I've got a really, really hot deal here that I want to stay in and create a golden goose out of that'll make me money for a long, long time to come, or whether I got a seller who wants retail price and a high down payment and a high monthly payment, which I'm going to turn into an axe deal and I only get one check out of. I much prefer the first than the second. However, since we have this thing called axe, we're not going to let these deals go away, because when you can collect 10, 15, 20 grand out of them, obviously you want to do that, even if you can't find one of those sweet deals you want to stay in. So let me relate that to dollars and cents for you. Let's say the seller that says they'll take $200,000 for the house, and it's free and clear. Okay? Seller number one says, yeah, I'll sell it with nothing down, and agrees to take a $1,000 a month payment for some term, which is probably going to be 3 to 5 years, give or take. And I would shoot for no interest, another subject for another time, and I'd get it about probably 60-70% of the time. But right now, no interest is not the point. The point is, sellers agreed to take a $1,000 a month payment, nothing down, on a $200,000 note to the seller. Okay? That kind of a seller is going to get my heart beating. That kind of seller is going to turn into a goose for me, because I immediately know if the seller is taking nothing down and $1,000 a month on a $200,000 house, then whatever I get down from my buyer, I get to keep all of it. And I wouldn't put somebody in a house, a $200,000 house, on a lease purchase even, with less than $15,000 down. If I'm selling with owner financing, I expect to get 20 or more. So that's all my money. But here's the better part. If I'm paying out $1,000, I know I'm going to be collecting about $1,700, $1,800, $2,000 a month every single month, and I get to keep that difference. So I built a cash cow. I built a cash flow machine that could last for years and years and years, simply because I asked the right questions and I got a seller who really didn't want everything his way, retail price. And guys, you'll be so surprised at how many people could care less about a down payment, could care less about interest, and were happy to take a lower monthly payment just to get the house sold and just to get the money coming in. Please do not try to prejudge them. Ask the questions on the script and let them tell you what they will do, instead of you trying to force it down their throat. Now, seller number two now says he wants $200,000 for the house, says he wants, he would owner finance it, but he wants $10,000 down, and he wants $1,600 a month PITI. Well, I know that if he wants retail price, and he wants a large down payment, and he wants a high monthly payment, there's very little chance that I'm going to stay in the deal, because there's no equity, there's no monthly spread. The only way I can make money is the difference between what I can collect from a down payment from a buyer and what I got to pay him. So the good news is, if he'll take $10,000 down, I expect the market to give me $20,000 to $25,000 down. So I'll simply write up the contract on his terms, as lousy as they are for me. I'll write up the contract on his terms, put it out into the marketplace, find a tenant buyer with more money down, and my friends, when I'm offering terms into the marketplace, they're everywhere. There's there's 10 times more buyers with terms than there are for all cash. So I'm the guy with the $200,000 house offering terms. So it's not about finding a buyer, it's finding one with enough money to satisfy my needs. So I know that my only game here is whatever the difference on the down payments are, and then I'm out. And I'll either assign my contract or I might even choose to stay in it. And that's another decision that you really can't make until you find that tenant, until you find that buyer. If I've got this thing under contract for 200 with 10 down at $1,000 or $1,600 a month, what if somebody does come along and wants to give me $20,000 or $30,000 down and wants to pay me $2,200 a month because I let them tell me what they pay before I open my big mouth and tell them what I had to have? Well, at that time, I'll make the decision as to whether I want to stay in it or not. But until then, I have the luxury of staying in it or getting out of it, knowing that I'm going to get paid for my services. So, seller A, gold mine, stay in, money now, money monthly, money later. Seller B, not such a gold mine, but a nice little check on an axe deal. So anyway, I hope that clears it up, and I hope you see why I like owner financing deals so much. We were sitting here talking about a $200,000 deal. Wait till you do the numbers on $1 million deal, or a $2 million deal, or a $3 million deal. Wait till you see how much money you can make with the exact same process applied to a luxury home instead of a lower end home. You're going to begin to like this business called terms. And by the way, I'm doing a 2-day retraining on it on November the 15th and 16th here in Jacksonville, and you're invited. And it's going to be 2 intense days modernizing the entire terms business, which includes seller financing and lease purchases. That would include ACS, sandwich leases, and owner financing. I'm taking the old Control Without Ownership course, the purple one, and the old green cash flow system, Pretty House cash flow system course, and I'm combining them two into a 2-day event and into a new course. Now the new course won't be published for 2 or 3 months thereafter. However, you can sit through this 2 days on being at home, because we're going to simulcast it, or you can come to Jacksonville Live. If you come to Jacksonville Live, you can bring deals, and we're going to work them live in class and call your sellers for you and have you leave with contracts on orally accepted deals. If you choose to sit home and do simultaneous, or simulcast, not simultaneous, I don't know why I keep saying that, then you can download the manual and take the whole course from home and get a jump start on everybody else who's going to wait on the course. We have not set the price for the course yet when it comes out, but I can tell you it will be $1,000 or more minimum, and you have a chance to come to this event live or on simulcast for $497 and get the entire manual. So you might want to take us up on that. Just go down below and get registered. Now, we're only allowing 50 people in the room in Jacksonville, so if you want to come live, even more important, get out and get registered right now. That's a heck of a deal at $497. So go do it now. Hope the lesson was of value to you. Hope it clarifies. A lot of people come to me with questions on how to handle free and clear houses. The answer is simple. 1, determine they're free and clear. 2, determine they will take terms. Then 3, read my script. That's all you got to do. See you soon.